Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. My name is Alexander Jarman, the Assistant Curator at the Wellin Museum of Art at Hamilton College in beautiful Clinton, New York. I am so lucky to be joined via Zoom with Matthew Deleget and Rossana Martinez here. We're going to talk a little bit about the exhibition that's at the Wellin right now and just some issues general to the art world that we're all thinking about at the moment. So just to get us started, I want to again welcome everyone. Hope you're staying safe and you and your loved ones are well during this pandemic. And I want to tell you a little bit about Matthew and Rossana. We'll start with Rossana Martinez, who is an artist, gallerist, and foundation manager, originally from Puerto Rico, and holds an MFA in sculpture and printmaking from the Pratt Institute in Brooklyn. She is an amazing artist who creates experiences and dialogues between the body and common materials through such mediums as sculpture, installation, and performance art. She has received awards from the Brooklyn Arts Council, Bronx Museum of the Arts, Lower Manhattan Cultural Council, and in addition to Minus Space, the gallery that her and Matthew run, she is also the foundation manager at the Lily Auchincloss Foundation. Thank you. And a little bit about Matthew Deleget as well. He is an artist, curator, and arts worker whose work has been shown nationally and internationally, including the 2014 Whitney Biennial. His work has been reviewed in Art Forum, the New York Times, Hyperallergic, Flash Art, and so many, many other outlets. In addition to Minus Space, he is currently an artist consultant with the Creative Capital Foundation's Professional Development Program, a member of American Abstract Artists, the Marie Walsh Sharp Art Foundation's Artist Advisory Committee, and he's on the board of the Elizabeth Foundation for the Arts. So it is no wonder that we invited you to curate an exhibition at the Wellin with all of those amazing credentials. And just to say a little bit about the exhibition, I know you all will talk more about it, but Some Artists, which is on view at the museum, is really a show where artists are creating diagrams, charts, visual informatics to try and help us understand information from a variety of fields, whether it's anthropology, sociology, history, in order to help us process information through the lens of visual art. So I want to start there with our interview and talk a little bit about that exhibition, sort of starting off on a positive note, I guess, with everything that's happening. Can you all just share some of your favorite memories of putting the show together, or do you have certain pieces that really stand out for you, have resonated with you through all of this?
That's a great question. Definitely, we had lots of connections from the artists that are part of the exhibition. And when we were there, which I am so glad that we had such a lovely week with all of you, because of all, especially after what we are living. It was a lovely week of talking and very tiring. I remember being extremely tired at the end, but it was because it was such an interesting conversation about how this exhibition started. And I remember when we were giving tours and when Matthew was talking, since he had kind of curated a smaller exhibition related to this concept of mapping by artists years ago, also through the gallery. But I think the main or the seed begins in the Alfred Jensen painting that everybody loved, because as we were students at Pratt Institute where we met, I always mention how that was Matthew's thesis topic, because he did the dual degree in art history and studio arts, or fine arts. I can't remember how the degree is called at Pratt, but that was really when we started looking at all this type of work of why artists do this, and for Alfred Jensen having that mixed background and interest. It's like an explosion of information and how to decide to put that on a painting instead of like an enormous chart or some sort of computer program, or but it's really that painting, I think, that then starts to grow, you know, like a tree with different branches. And then of course you have Leslie Roberts, and then you have Lauren Monk, who we had the pleasure to have there as well during that week. And I think those connections, and they all have connections, even the Wellin works, which is my favorite, just because I love to garden and I love the idea of being in Greece as part of the exhibition. So everything had connected with a thread, but I feel like that Alfred Jensen was really the first step.
I agree with everything that Rossana said, that, you know, we are curating an exhibition, obviously, but with the exhibition consists of like living, in most cases, a couple of artists have died, but, you know, living, breathing, thinking individuals with these like amazing lives and ideas and influences and research. And it was just great to like work with so many incredible artists on putting the exhibition together. A lot of artists that we have, you know, admired. You showed Lauren Monk's work. We've known Lauren for 20 years. We've worked with him on a lot of different projects, and just really admire people like Lauren, who are makers and thinkers and like core members of their community, like real,
interesting people,
real human beings. So, and just to have the opportunity to work with these artists and put them all under a framework and be able to present their works. You know, I've been looking at, as Rossana mentioned, Alfred Jensen's work, you know, since I wrote my graduate thesis on him in the mid-1990s, you know. So this is someone that I've never had a chance to really like include in a show and like present full force. And, you know, artists like David Diao, who I've looked at since I was an undergraduate. You know, he's an artist that really kind of came of age, at least on my radar, in the 1980s with these kind of conceptual paintings. And he'll include one of David's like classic works about Barnett Newman, you know, and then to present artists that are like our colleagues, our, you know, generation and younger has been like particularly like thrilling to show artists who we've, you know, been in touch with for many, many years, like Dred Scott and, you know, Wendy Red Star now, who's John O'Connor, who, you know, shares Pratt Institute with us. John Zinzer, who we've been able to work with on many occasions. I'll also add, you know, being able to pull in information from the special collections at the library. And to be able to like borrow the serials whenever we wanted, you know, to be given that kind of a gift was like unreal. I mean, we've never had that kind of opportunity to do something like that. So to kind of hybridize all of these different opportunities together, and then to work with you guys, obviously, on, and you have such a high standard. It's unbelievable. And to have an exhibition that's like staffed and resourced, and where we're able to build vitrines and put up walls and deal with loans and borrow things from collections, climate control and have art handlers and not have to put everything up on the walls ourselves. I mean, this was like a first on so many. I mean, we almost feel a little guilty that it was so luxurious, you know? So, I mean, like lots and lots and lots of highlights, but I think, I mean, for me, it comes down to the people. I mean, it was the people, and the amazing team with the Wellin and Tracy and the education staff and Chris and the art handlers, and just the care and
all the details,
professionalism was so remarkable. So I can't choose just one highlight.
I also want to add that it felt great that even though the exhibition, as you know, is heavy on the concept, just because of the subjects that these artists decide to research and make it graphic or visual. But in a way, I feel like that was a nice way of showing that through art, we can see so much of the world, right? And each person's perspective like Wendy Red Start and Red Scott, and I feel like now seeing what we have done in the last couple of months with this crisis, how much more we will see from artists working, you know, living, having this experience of this crisis and bringing it into their work. So it will continue. The story of this exhibition will have always, I mean, always, not just because of this crisis, but I love the idea of that, even though artists are not scientists, which I think that was one of the things that was discussed in our talks. Not all of them. I'm sure there must be one that is a scientist somewhere, but it's great to see these bright minds and this incredible aesthetic at the same time. So that combination of huge information and curiosity, and then the tool that they are able to actually make it into something that we can look at.
Yeah, and I'll just again do a quick screen share here, because I think, you know, you're talking about sort of what comes out of this moment that we're in, and artists getting really creative, and, you know, Dred Scott's piece is turning to the medium of hashtags, if you want to call it that, whatever, you know, and art, we know one thing, art will persist, and artists will find a way to keep being creative.